Hey guys, Loot Wizard here with another video on Gems of War, and we have a new faction out. It just came out today, so there is a new weapon available for it, and we're going to check it out. Uh, I just purchased it a few moments ago. It costs about 400 gems, and the weapon is called the Tome of Spores. It deals 33 scatter damage, boosted by Amethrax allies, which is the name of this new faction. It explodes 3 gems for each Amethrax ally, and then it will summon an Amethrax troop. So, I would say this is probably middle tier of the faction weapons, simply because it is summoning a troop only from this faction, which there's only troops for the faction, and I took a look at them a little bit earlier, and I don't think that there's really any great troops really in there that's gonna really be great for your team. So there's, for example, the faction weapon Secrets of the Crypt is much better than this weapon because it steals life and it summons an undead troop, not a troop that's just for the faction of that weapon. So it can summon an undead troop that's for any kingdom, any faction, which makes that weapon way better than this one. So it seems like this weapon is made specifically to work well with the troops of this faction, which I haven't really used it with that setup yet, but just from looking at the troops that are available for this weapon, it doesn't look like it's going to be a really strong team. If you have a good team with a couple of mythics and a good weapon that goes with them really well, like let's say you have Tina 9000, you have Megavore, and you have Mountain Crusher and maybe one other mana generating troop in there, a team like that's probably going to crush an Amethrax team with this weapon. So, is it worth the 400 gems? Well, I mean, if you're already really high level and you're just collecting weapons at this point, then pick it up. But I really can't recommend this weapon right now. And even if you're doing delves for this faction, this weapon is only going to take you so far. And then you're going to have to use something much more powerful like Mang or something else that's going to do way more damage to those high level troops in that delve. So, yeah, that's my opinion on that. Now, let's go look at the upgrades for the weapon real quick. So if we look here, you got your standard upgrades, and then we have poison the first enemy, disease the first enemy, and then enchants itself when it's cast. Now the enchanting's good. It has a 14 mana cost, so the enchant's good. But as far as poison and disease here, now poison, it's not really that strong unless you have troops like the mythic troop Scorpius, which does lethal damage to poisoned enemies. But if my memory serves me correctly, Scorpius only hits the last 2 enemies, and then it will do lethal damage to them if it's poisoned. So this right here would actually be a lot better if it was poison the last enemy. And then if this was still disease the first enemy, that would be fine. But if this was like poison the last enemy, then at least you would have a guaranteed poison unless they were immune to it when you cast this weapon. And you could include a mythic troop like Scorpius, and it would be a pretty powerful weapon with that troop, but that's not the case. Now, a lot of the Amethrax troops do have some poison with them when they're cast, so that might be something to look into for a future team with Scorpius. But yeah, I just can't recommend this weapon, really. It doesn't look that great. I could be wrong, but just looking at it and the troops that go with it, it doesn't look that great. So that's my opinion on this weapon, guys. Obviously, if you have a different opinion for other reasons, you feel free to share it in the comments. And as always, thanks for listening. Later.